Well, hello. What I want to do is walk you through how I get my posts out the door and into your inbox using MailChimp and my RSS feed. And if those words don't all make sense to you, the easy way to say that is how I do a daily newsletter from my blog. So we're going to start here inside of MailChimp. I've logged in and I'm going to go create a brand new list just so we can start from the beginning. And so when I create a brand new list, I'm going to say, let's do this as a new list. And the first thing you got to do is you got to fill out some stuff, right? So this is a, let's call it my daily newsletter. And I'll say it's for me. And we'll put in some information. And I need a subject. Now we're going to come back to this subject later. But what we'll do here is just say, now what I'm doing is leaving a static. I'm leaving a static title here. I'm going to show you how I change that. But that's just the way I do it, right? So here I'll say, you join this by subscribing to something, and this is my old address. Whoops. For some reason, they still have my very first address ever. So we'll change that real quick. And you're going to have to do the same thing. And the reason you have to do it is because of CAM spam laws, right? Which say that at the bottom of every email, people have to be able to know exactly where this mail is coming from. And they have to have a way to unsubscribe. And the beautiful thing about using MailChimp is that it does both for you. So you don't have to worry about that. So it says my list was created. That's great news. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sign-up form. And again, that's very easy to do. These guys make it so remarkable. And so I'm going to leave this alone right now, though you could change it. I'm going to show you how to make 2 or 3 tweaks, but that's it. So here's a basic form. And the form lets me, when I roll over it, you'll see it lets me change some things. And so I'm going to leave email address up front. I'm going to give people the option to give me their first and last name. But over here, I'm going to change this. And so I'm going to hit edit. And when I change edit, I want to be able to say that this isn't my daily newsletter. I want to say, this is for you, right? Again, you could do anything you wanted. And we want to change the look. So when we go to the background, you'll notice this background here is gray. I can come over here and pick a totally different color. I can pick colors I've used before, like orange. Oh, that's a little too bright for me. So yeah, somewhere in that range, maybe over here somewhere. I can pick it, and now I have this. Now the other thing is, in the header, right, I can change the font size, but I can also change and use an image, and that's really awesome because you can upload it from your computer, or you can look at images you've already used before. Now, for example, I have already uploaded a logo, and so I'm just going to save that image in here, and look at that. We got the logo. It's starting to look like a newsletter from me, right? This is my page, whatever. So now I'm good. I'm done. I can hit save and exit. And when I do that, you'll notice I left that whole space, but I can go to this daily newsletter anytime I want, and I can go back to this form, and I'll be taken back here. Now there's another thing you should know. Most people forget to adjust this, but that's not the only form that exists. In fact, if you're doing the authentication that you should be doing, where people sign up, but then they get another email saying, please verify that you are interested, that's the opt-in confirmation email, and there's a thank you email. And every one of those emails, right, if I, or even a thank you, if I go to that one and look, right, I may want to adjust what's going on here. I may want to change this text. You can do that. You just have to remember to go to all these forms and work with them, right? Now, the other thing is, once I'm here, I want you to notice over here it has the for your website area. And this has the embed code, and it also has the link code. And the difference is the embed code will create a little form on your website, And the sign up code will give you a link. Let me show you what that looks like just over on chrislemma.com. If I go over here and I go into the blog area, what you're going to notice is that I use actually both methods. And they're used in two different ways. When you're looking at the blog, you'll notice over here on this, in this square, in this widget area, I have what's the form. So I'm using their form code to fill this in. But if I dig into one of my posts, at the very bottom of the post, you'll notice, and I wrote about this the other day, you'll notice that there's another black box here underneath the end of the post, and here there's a link. And if you click on that link, guess what you're going to go to? You're going to go to my sign up form. In this case, I only asked for first name and email. I don't even need to know your last name. The data suggests that the lower number of elements that you offer people to fill in a form, the easier it is for people to fill out. Now, I will say that more recent data suggests that the optimal realm is between 4 and 7. So above 7, every time you drop one, it becomes better and better. 4 to 7 is optimal, and then below 4, if you drop less and less, you start getting less responses again. So, you know, the problem with all that data is it's always contextual. You don't know if it's industry specific or something else. So I can't tell you for sure what the best option is. I can tell you what I'm doing, which is, in this case, I'm only asking for email, and in the other case, I'm asking for email and first name, and that's it. But all I wanted to do is highlight that you can get right here the sign up form and the sign up link code directly, and that's, you know, that's what you get. That's what they give you automatically to put in your website. So what we've done is we've created a list, we've created a form so people can sign up for that list, and we've gotten the code to put on our website. Whether you put it in a widget, or you put it at the bottom of a page, or you put it in a post, link or form, that's helpful for you. So that's the first part of all this. The next part is creating a campaign, and that's what we're going to set up right now. So what we do is we head over to create a campaign. And when we click a campaign, you're going to see the last option is RSS driven campaign. And that's what I'm going to click. And when I do that, it's going to ask for my RSS feed. It's also going to ask me whether I should send what day and what time and what days. And so I'm going to pick all the days. And in this case, I'm going to pick a time. And in this case, I'll set it up for 7 a.m. Now, 7 a.m. you should realize is 10 a.m. East Coast time. And if you have a lot of folks on the East Coast, you may want to adjust this, right? So that's up to you. You got to make the call of what time makes most sense for you. You can also see every week and every month. So you do have options. You could say every week on Monday, and that's when you do it. In this case, I'm going to leave it for every day. Now, this is the trick, right? And this is the when I left using FeedBurner and I moved to MailChimp, you know, everything was driven around this dynamic of saying, okay, I want to still do it off my blog. I still want to do it off my RSS feed. And so I came over here to see if they had it. And what you'll notice is, you know, the name of this whole campaign adjusts, and that's what we'll talk about. We're going to create a dynamic. We'll end up creating a dynamic title for each one that goes out. But with all that said, you're wondering, wait a second, where do I get my RSS feed? Well, you have some great questions and answers right here, okay? You can use it with your FeedBurner feed if you want. I don't. I go directly to the source. And here's what some people don't know, is that your WordPress website automatically has feeds for everything. And you can have a feed, you know, if you step into my blog, you'll notice that I have a lot of articles that are on WordPress, but I also have them on other things like presentations. And what you'll notice is that when I switch to presentations, I'm in category presentations, and when I switch to WordPress, I'm in category WordPress. People don't always know this, but every single category has its own RSS feed as well, right? In my case, because I care about all of my posts, I just need to get the RSS feed for the whole thing. Now, if you've set up an RSS icon somewhere on your website, then you can click on this to get it. But I happen to know, and I'll show you how I do it, is just the word feed. So I just add feed to the root of my website. And there I see code, and you're like, oh, this is what is this? Why am I looking at this? You don't need to worry about it. All you need to do is take that URL and bring it back over here and say that is the feed that I want. And then you're going to click next. And when you click next, it's going to show you all the lists. And remember, we just set up our daily newsletter list. So we can go next to setup. And when we go next to setup, right, we're going to have to name our campaign. Now this name your campaign is your internal name. It's what you decide to call it so you know it, right? So this is my daily newsletter sample, right? And here's where it gets tricky because these are the subject lines. And what you should know is these subject lines are the subject lines, you know, for forever. This is what, I mean, you obviously can come and change it, but this is the subject line that you have. And if you set it up statically, right? So if you were to just put, hey, there's something new here for your inbox, it's going to be that title for every single message that goes out. That may not be what you want. And in fact, in this case, what it's doing is it's looking at the RSS feed title. So in this case, the feed title might be chrissummit.com. And so it would say posts from chrissummit.com for and today's date. That's not necessarily something that's exciting either. So what they have over here is RSS merge tags for the subject lines, right? And so you can click on this link and it will give you, it'll take you somewhere where you can see all of these, you know, potentials, right? And we'll talk about some of these formats in just a second, right? But there's one in here. And this is displays the title of the RSS item. Okay? Now, why is this important? Well, at chrissummit.com, I write one post a day. And so therefore, as much as sometimes I want to write 2 or 3, I write one a day, and therefore my newsletter is going to only have one article. And I know then that this is going to be unique. It's just going to be one. It's not going to be confusing, you know, because I have 2 titles, whatever. So this is what I use. So when I come over here, instead of having that subject there, I just use my title because I know it's going to be one article. Now, I had someone ask me the other day on the website, well, what if I had multiple posts in a day? It'll take the last post in the queue. So if you wrote something at 8 in the morning this morning and 12 this afternoon and then again at 8 tonight, when it goes out tomorrow, assuming that you do this right, you will get all 3 articles in your newsletter. But you're going to get just the most recent, the one from 8 p.m. here in the title. Hopefully that makes sense. You'll also notice that it gives you the merge tag that's available from your list. So because we collected a 2, I could potentially use because we collected a first name, I could potentially use it in the body of my newsletter. Okay? And now what we're going to do is we're going to step into the design of the actual letter. Now, one of the things that you see, right, when you get into this design area is that you see you have a lot of different options. You can look at all the prefab designs that they have for you, and you can look at these templates. But the truth is, this drag and drop editor is worth trying for you. And so, if I were you, I would do it. So, you know, it says try the new editor. I'm going to do that. And you get to pick some basic templates, right? And the most basic of this is 1 column, and you know, another one is a 2 column, and they can do 2 column. Let's see, I think somewhere in here I saw, yeah, with the right sidebar, right, or left sidebar. So you can do that. If you want it to look like your website and you have a right or left sidebar, you could pick one of those, right? And so you know, this is a right sidebar RSS if you like, so let's pick that. And it's going to show me everything default, right? And what happens, because we picked this RSS, it's going to actually fill in a lot of this RSS stuff for me, right? Which is kind of nice. That this may or may not be what I want, right? So for example, this TOC is the table of contents, meaning this is going to show me the list of all the articles in here. And the truth is, I may not want that list because I only have one article every time, right? But if you're writing 3 articles, this would be perfect because it'll say, hey, in this edition, right, here are the 3 titles. And when you want to edit this, you click the pencil, and I want you to watch over here on the right because these are all the things I can drag over. But when I click the pencil, it just changes over here and says, okay, what do I want to adjust, right? And so I can see I have a basic, intermediate, advanced, or custom. And if I pick basic, right, guess what happens? I get the title and the feed description. Okay, that, you know, I can show the markup and make edits, but that's cleaner for me. You may go back and say, no, I plan to have a lot of, I need the table of contents because I plan to have a lot of articles, right? And so here's this piece. Then we get into this guy again. I can click this and say, do I want excerpts or full content? Now, I personally choose full content because I have one article and I want the whole article in their inbox. I don't want them to see half of it and then have to go click and read it on the site. I know some people do that. I want you to just get the full article. So I say full content. But you could also do the excerpts, right? And there's not a problem with that either. And one of the things you should note is when you're on your own website, right, and we're looking in here, if you go into your dashboard, right, in your dashboard you have an option of what's going to get passed out with your with your content in your RSS, right? So if we go out to reading, I'm pretty sure it's in settings, reading, we are going to see for each article in the feed show the full text or the summary. Okay, you get to decide what you want. Now in my case, because I want the full feed, I want full text. But if you were writing 3, 4, 5 articles a day, then you might want to pick summary because you only want the excerpts of the 4 articles in the post. So that's a choice you have. In here, right, you notice we can just say excerpts are full. In this case, I'm going to go full, and it changes the content here, right? Then you can drop, so I can hit save and close. Then you can drop images here and here, right? So I can come over here and say that I want to change this, right? And it'll say, okay, what do you want to change it to? Upload an image, right? Or I can say, let's go to the browse, come back to my files, and because I've already, come back to my images, because I've already done this once, right? Let's see, which one do I want here? We'll just pick one of these guys, right? Or actually, look at this one. We'll select the blog one, right? So this should show up here. I thought I'd done it right. Yes, very nice. I did do it right. There we go. I also can change this text up here. So it says, this is a short preview of content. I can say, you know, thanks for subscribing to my daily post, right? And I can hit save and close. And I can drag and drop something here. And maybe I want to drag and drop an image. But maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe instead I want to drag and drop social follow, right? And I can put this guy right in here, and I can turn around and take this guy out, right? And just hit delete. And then in here, I can come back in and put my Facebook and Twitter and website links, and it'll do it all. It'll have it all set up for me. So let's say that I left that all there. We have a couple more things to do. I do want to highlight, you can do a preview, you can send yourself a test mail and all that, but when you're getting ready to wrap up, you know that some people won't get HTML, they'll get plain text, and so this is the plain text version, same kind of thing, and you can adjust that if you want it, and then we go to confirm. And when we go to confirm, you're going to see that my title is now taken here, right? It's going to go to my daily list, which currently has nobody. It's going to be based on chrislemma.com/feed. And when I'm all said and done, I can preview and test, right? I can pop open a preview window, which will show me, right? Notice it's set up to do that, you know, how many different articles. So in this case, I'm getting 2 articles, and then this is the first article, and you'll see all the text and the images are all in here. And then it says, hey, here are some of the recent articles from my RSS feed, right? And somewhere over here, it should have had the 3 buttons, right? So we look at that and we say, yeah, that looks really good. I like it. So we can save and exit this guy. Oh, notice it wants me to resolve because I don't have any people here. That's okay. For now, we're just going to save and exit and go back to our dashboard. And when that happens, when we're all said and done, you will have set up a way for your people to fill out forms on the website. And when they fill those things out, right, they will automatically, every time they fill out one of these forms, they will automatically be put onto a list. And on that list, because that list is tied to a campaign, that campaign will go back to the website to get the RSS feed. And then it will turn around and send it to people. And what you'll notice here is today my post from chrislemma.com got sent to 259 people. Of that, this is pretty average, about 35%, 36% opened it. Only 8% actually clicked somewhere, but again, because I'm presenting the entire article, there's really no reason to click. And 64% didn't open it at all. And if I look back at the day before, right, 33%, right, 66 didn't open, and you'll see that for the most part, these are pretty similar, right? 40%, so that was a little bit more people opened it. But it's being driven on often the title, right? And so you'll notice the one that opened up 40, here was my subject, right? Do you already have these 20 WordPress resources bookmarked? Now I'll tell you this, if I get an email and the email says, this is my daily post or today's post from chrislemma.com, I'm clearly not going to open it. But if I get a question that says, do I already have these 20 WordPress resources bookmarked, and I'm a WordPress kind of person, then by all means, I'm gonna open it up, right? And so this went to 250 folks, and that's what happened. I see the opens, I see the unopens, I see the clicks, etc. All right, so that's it. That's how we create a daily newsletter from our website. In other words, how we use an RSS feed from a website to produce daily content that sends out via MailChimp and a mail merge. Thanks a lot.